Hey folks, this is Bill from Fit and 50 Plus, and I'm continuing with my kind of series of the shoes in my rotation as I prepare for my first half marathon, which is something that I've begun training for in the past couple of weeks. The race I'm targeting is in January, and I'm going to put together a video about that as well. The purpose of this series is just to go over some simple reviews of some shoes that I'm using right now. The previous video that I did was on the Saucony Kinvara 9. I'll have the link in the description below if you want to take a look at that. That's a newer model that came out recently, and you can get my impressions on that. But this video is going to be on one that's actually from last year. And this is kind of one of those shoes that was the darling of the running community when it first came out. And with each progressive version, apparently it's lost some of its luster. Now keep in mind, this is the first time I've ever worn this shoe. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I've ever worn a shoe by this maker of shoes. So without further ado, let me show you the Hoka One One Clifton 4. Now I know that the Clifton 5 is out right now, you know, a lot of folks have their heart broken every time Hoka comes out with a brand new version. I've never worn a Hoka shoe before, let alone a Clifton. And I guess the holy grail of the Hoka line was the original Clifton from the reviews that I see online by all the respected reviewers that I like to watch. But I'm only speaking from the perspective of somebody that has put this shoe on and put about 150 miles on it and what I think of this shoe. And for what it's worth, as somebody that's never experienced this company's shoes before, I think this thing is great. The way that your foot sits in it, it kind of sits down. You've got the midsole, you've got the blown rubber in the strategic places, you've got the midsole, which you know provides a lot of cushion, but then inside you've got this cupping action where your foot kind of gets cupped into place. It's very, very hard to describe until you put it on. And the one thing that I do notice is when I first put them on, you don't necessarily feel your foot being locked into this little cuppy place. I guess that's what you'd call it. But once you get out on the road, you can feel almost like a double cushioning system. I don't know how else to describe it. But you've got the cushioning from the midsole, and you've got the cushioning from whatever this cuppy action is. I personally think they're great. These things aren't the fastest shoes. They're not the slowest shoes. They're not the most cushioned shoes. They're kind of the Goldilocks of shoes, I guess you could call them, as far as I'm concerned. They're just right. When my feet or my legs feel a little beaten up, when I'm going to choose what I'm going to wear for a long run, when I just can't decide what I want to wear, I'll always grab for these. And they're really, really down the middle. And if I can't make up my mind, or if I can't decide, I know that I'm always going to have a successful run wearing these shoes. Like I said, keep in mind, this is my first pair of Hokas, let alone the Cliftons. So I know that a lot of people out there might think, hey, this guy is nuts. Clifton 1s, Clifton 2s, what about, you know, that's not the perspective I'm coming from. I'm coming from the perspective of, it's the first time I've ever worn a Hoka One One shoe, let alone the Clifton. And as far as that's concerned, I think they're great. I would really recommend them to folks that have never tried them before, because you're not going to know what you're missing, I guess. I don't know what I'm missing, apparently. I guess with my next review, I may well find out what I'm missing, because the next one I'm going to do is on the brand new New Balance Beacon and from what I've been told, those are as close to what the original Clifton was as is in the market right now. So maybe then I'll know the true grandeur of what the original Hoka One Clifton was. But for the time being, the Clifton 4, definitely something that you can sink your teeth into. It can get you through all kinds of running, short, long, recovery, all that type of thing. And the great thing about this right now is that you can get these suckers on sale for about 80 bucks. I've seen them for $79.99. I picked mine up for $89.99 a couple of months ago. But across the board, you can find these for a very reasonable price. And when you weigh in, that value along with the performance that you get from them, I really think that they're worth looking into. So with that said, I hope you guys have some really good runs. I'll be back as soon as I can with another video, and have a great day.